Hello, everyone. Shalom. Welcome back to our second podcast. And joining me today would be Brenda Julianos and Monica James. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
So, today we'll be talking on holiness in ordinary things. This is going to be a series for the next couple of months, and particularly today we'll be tackling the topic of friendships and relationships. So, like the first thing that comes to mind, I mean for me lah, when I hear the word holiness would be something holy, or I think of saints, something that relates to righteousness and goodness. So all these three in one that we put into practice in our daily lives, because the ultimate goal would be Jesus. Things that we do in our daily lives, be it our friendships, our relationships with anyone, or family members at home or our workplace. Because the connections that we have, we would want to, bring the love Jesus has, the friend that we have in Jesus, to everyone else. Yeah. So
because C.S. Lewis even said your friends the holiest thing presented senses, which means that friendship represent the heaven to us. So you bring Jesus to them and bring heaven to them at the same time. They bring heaven and Jesus to us also.
Yeah, that's true. And Pope Francis mentioned this as well. The call to holiness is at once personal and communal, and pushing us to actively build the kingdom of God. So ultimately, we will want to build the kingdom of God in our friendships with everyone else. And also he mentioned that God has placed in our hearts who God calling us to be. So for this, the topic today we will tackle on friendships and relationships. So God is calling us to be a friend. So I'm going to be a friend to you, Brenda. I'm going to be a friend to you, Monica, and everyone else out there. And how is God calling you as a friend to holiness? Because God is calling us to be someone holy to each of us, to each of our friends.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Call to bring Jesus standard.
Yeah.
See, I guess in our faith as well, we're like quite we have like this goal of friendship that we want to achieve, and we see that in Jesus himself. He like sets the standard or the goal of a kind of friendship that we want to have here on earth.
Marking scheme, like give exam
the marking
reach the goal.
A plus. The marking scheme for our friendship.
Yeah, so our answers may vary, but we want to reach that perfect goal of the friendship that we see in Jesus.
Yeah, you always want the best of us. Just like exam, you want to reach the best you can, the great mark that all. So it's friendship is the same lah. So
I mean, to everyone who's listening here, because I mean, before like having this impression of having Jesus standard of being a friend, to me, friendship sounded very subjective. I would say, friendship is very subjective, because whatever I say about friendship might mean something to me, but might mean different to you and Monica, to Brenda and Monica. So like we were talking about this, and like our ultimate goal is the standard of Jesus. Yeah.
Yep. Amen. And our human heart is drawn by love, which Saint King of Siena said it. So So God is love, and we are asked to bring love to each other, especially the relationship on us. So our human heart is really one for love.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's also love. I guess it's also love that has a goal. It's not just that something that it has no future or no goal that we look forward to. There is something that we aim, or something that we get or we can give in friendships.
True.
Right.
That's true. Yeah. So like today, what kind of friendships or relationships are we tackling, girls? Have any?
As we're talking, we're gonna focus on the godly friendship we're gonna have in our life, so that we can draw Jesus closer to each of us, because we're gonna bring heaven to you, heaven to me.
Yes. Okay, I mean,
Amen.
yeah, amen. But then, like, come to think of it, like, though we want to bring like God into our friendships, like we want godly friendships, but there are people out there who is going through rough situations in their friendships or relationships, something that
Yeah.
is toxic to them. I mean, like, it might seem toxic to people who's watching, but they themselves don't know that it's toxic. And some of
Yeah.
them don't realize that they are the toxic person in the relationship or in the friendship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
So what kind of toxic we can say that, what kind of toxic relationship we can categorize it few things lah. But one of the main thing is we should bring you closer to God and didn't put God at the center of your relationship, and decide it will bring bad things in your life, like in a relationship you don't trust, and they bring bad things lah. And I think there's other toxic things like abuse, physical, mentally, or even emotionally abuse to you. But it's drawn by love and focus on love. But if a friendship that didn't show love, but only brings toxic and let you feel like so troubled and so annoyed by it, I guess this can categorize as a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
So, is any other kind of toxic we can tackle about it?
I think there are things like, sometimes in friendships, some friends would be very manipulative. Some could be very possessive. So possessive in a sense where, okay, let's say 3 of us are friends. So I'm going out with you, Brenda, and Monica doesn't like it. She's like, why do you have to go out with Jasmine? Like, I don't want you to go out with her. So she's very possessive of it. Or let's say, like if you're going to a party and all of us set a date, and then Monica said, oh, I don't feel like I want to go. Then all of us, because we give in, so we don't go because she doesn't want us to go. So that is a little of manipulation and possession over there.
So you're like, it's like you're holding your happiness or your joy on someone else, on the responsibility of someone else.
Yeah.
And you're making them feel bad that you are not happy for what they failed to live up to, that you expected them to live up to.
Yeah.
Because a relationship or friendship need a both side of effort. So if you just because you want to care for it, maybe just because you want to care for other people feeling, then you're like care of yourself. Like first thing you have to do is to take care of yourself, because you are the temple of Holy Spirit. So you have to care for your heart, your emotion, your physical health also. So it's important to tackle and
boundaries.
think about it, about the kind of friendship that you have. Does it bring you to God, or is it that draw you away from
God? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess there are like different levels of friendship as well. Like since you're at this.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah. Since I believe it's Aristotle who said like we are not very close with everyone we meet, although we may categorize them as friends. But there are different levels to it as well. As he said, like the first is utility. Like utility, like first is utility. So like you basically get something from them. It's a common exchange.
So it's something very mutual.
Yeah, right. And the next is pleasure, and the third is virtue.
I guess it's like colleague.
Yeah.
I can say that utility is like your relationship with your colleagues, your schoolmate for assignment and all. You only work to eat because you have to rush for the deadline, right? Come on, faster. And then close to you might be because you are good in your you're good in this subject. I mean, like, if I work with this guy, I need to do the least job as possible. So I'm gonna do it here. Yeah. So I think this is some kind of relationship. It's called utilities, I guess.
Yeah.
So it has another two, but virtue
the other
and
is pleasure. Yeah.
Oh, pleasure. So, pleasure. So maybe you can say what kind of thing is like pleasure kind of friendship?
friendships that fall under this category, they have maybe there's something that they share common interest in. So it could be a hobby, or yeah, most likely a hobby, something they enjoy doing together. But yeah, so it's just the activity that they enjoy, and they don't necessarily care for the person, or yeah, they don't necessarily care for the person that they're doing it with.
So it's more of a very self-regarding and self-focused relationship or friendship kind of thing, right? Yeah.
Just for fun, like live while you're young, you only live one YOLO life, that kind of thing.
And then the last one is virtues, right? You were saying?
Yeah, virtuous.
So what kind of virtuous?
That very much reflects the ideal goal of our Catholic or Christian friendship.
The Jesus centered.
Yes, the Jesus centered one. The goal
so
is
for example,
the person. Yeah, Monica?
Can you give like example of what kind of life virtuous relationship? So like for people to understand more.
Yeah, what do you have in mind of like, virtuous friendships?
Maybe it's something like, as we mentioned earlier, Jasmine and Monica, like you want the best for the other person. Like you want heaven for them, or you want them to live out to be the best person they can be. So like you're calling out the good things in them, challenging them to be better.
So it's like a very selfless one, because like the other two that we mentioned, it was more self-focused or mutual, whereas this is very, it's very selfless, unconditional. We want love, unconditional love in our friendships as well.
So can categorize as a godly friendship, right?
Yeah. That leads to holiness.
That's the word.
To the holy path. Yeah.
So because it encourages us to be a person God created us to be, rather than the person the world wants us to be. So to be in the world and not of the world. So correct? Yes. That's our topic last week, right?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago?
I think
so.
So, if you forgot, you can watch back the topic.
2 weeks ago.
It's on our page.
Okay, so I mean, like, okay, so like, what do you girls think of like, friendships? Do we need effort? Because for me, I feel like, though some people might say that friendship is effortless, but I feel that each friendships that we have needs effort. It takes effort.
Yes.
I guess there are some cases it will be easy and effortless. But there will come a time where things get a bit challenging, and you actually need to put effort to maintain the friendship or relationship that you have.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can hear most of the people in the friendship also say like our friendship, what happened to your friendship? It just like that lah. It happened like that. We stopped talking.
We just drifted apart. Yeah.
Like this kind of.
I guess this people like takes initiative.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like we were talking to Marcus that day, and he mentioned this as well. I mean, it's something very interesting lah for you, to those who are listening right now. So, like, let's say for me and Brenda and Monica, so 300%, each of us have 100, or make it easier. Brenda and I, 100. So let's say today I don't feel too good, so I can only put 50% of my effort into the friendship. So Brenda will take the other 50% from me. So she'll put 150% of her effort into the friendship. Because it wouldn't always be 100 and 100. Sometimes we have to give and take. That's what effort is all. Yeah.
Yes. Because even in Bible verse Proverbs chapter 27 verse 17, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. So we have to give effort to each other to help them grow deeper in love with Jesus, draw them closer to Jesus. That's our main purpose of a friendship, so that we can draw them closer to Him. So efforts for them, show love to them. Amen for that.
Also, like, since you quoted, took a verse from Proverbs, right? That day I was reading. So Proverbs 18:24 says, some friends only brings ruin, others are closer than a brother. So it also talks about toxic friendships, like
Yeah.
how some friendships brings, like, just damages you emotionally, physically, and mentally. So like we
Yeah.
would want the Christ, we want Jesus in our friendships, like we want the
Mm-hmm.
whole friendship that we could ever have, because our ultimate
Mm-hmm.
goal is heaven for you, heaven for me.
Amen. For main objective, heaven for you, heaven for
Yep.
me. Yeah. So like toxic, really like back to our topic, like just now we talk about the toxic friendship.
Yeah.
Like people really wouldn't notice that they are in the toxic relationship, but we
Mm-hmm.
as a friend, if we notice that our friend that involved in a toxic relationship, we have to advise them, although they might not listen to what we say lah, because people don't like to hear things that is like
Yeah.
bad for them. They just want to hear anything good. It's a
Yeah.
nature.
Anything that's easy to accept for them.
So humans are like that. I mean, like humans are like that. They only hear what they want to hear. Sometimes.
Because like when they hear something that is not what they are going through right now or that requires change, it forces them out of a place that they are familiar with right now.
Yeah.
Although this place is not good, it's something that they're familiar with, and I guess we're all comfortable with familiarity.
Yeah.
Stepping into
Yeah.
a new place or a different place, although it's a friendship, if you're going to lose this friendship, you may be afraid like, oh, I may not have friends. I'll be a lonely person.
So this calls back to the things that we are tied to each other, the soul tied to each other. You don't want to let go of this friendship, although you might know it's toxic, but you might think that I think I just want to try something new. It have been so long since we be friends so long. It's like dependence to each other, but it's like you just want each other, but you don't want good for each other. Just be there for them like that. It's bad for your for your emotional health also. So I guess this is a kind of toxic relationship.
Yeah, I think in the first podcast with Paul and Ollie, I think I mentioned this. Like, there's a reason why God put friends in your life at a certain point in your life. Let's say in high school,
Yes,
they were there for a reason. They were there to to cheer you on, to give you moral support, to affirm you. But sometimes relationships tends to drift apart, but that's a reason, because God has the perfect goal for you in your life, in your journey. Yeah.
Yep, it's true. I remember we used to be when we were in high school. The friendship that we have in high school is like different from what we have nowadays. Like we might say that most of us will be like, I miss my high school friends because like they are supporting you. But like in the stage where we're teenager, our stage of emotions is a bit different. So we are just stepping in the teenage life and the adult life. So we need people around us to keep us, encourage us, give us love, and help each other, advise each other on their difficulties. So I guess when we step into another level of our life, then we'll be like, we know which kind of friend that we finding the Jesus standard of friend that we know.
Yeah.
Yep, true.
Because like friendship also needs understanding. Like, okay, say for example, you're in a group of friends that groups of friends, not all would be Christians or Catholics. So definitely there needs to be understanding, there needs to be tolerance in that friendship, because for us, our weekly schedule be, okay, Sunday we need to go for mass. Let's say, okay, for example, Friday we got a prayer meeting or whatsoever, or maybe we have in uni you have CUS meeting. So this acceptance and tolerance within the group of friends is needed. Yes. So like, that kind of friendship that you have is like, okay, let's say you guys after class on Friday 12 o'clock, normally we have, let's say, meeting with our friends, and your other group of friends will be like, oh, Jasmine, you have this on, right? So it's okay lah, we go for lunch, you go ahead with whatever that you have to do. So that the understanding there is that's what friendship, that's the kind of holy friendship that we want. I mean, that's one example lah. Do you guys have any more example?
I agree because it's like our main purpose is so that people can see Christ in us also.
Yeah,
and through
true.
different kind of relationship, even if you're just your colleague, so that people will know that whatever you do, you actually do it with love. It doesn't mean to like just to condemn them or want to say bad about them. You just want to show your love to them. This is very important, I guess. Whatever relationship we are in, the main key word is love. Love.
Yeah.
Love and heaven.
I guess, yeah, when you think from a place of love, it's like very genuine, and that's all
Yep.
the radiating. And I guess a lot of people long for that and like that, and that's what they look for. And when you do it from a place of love, it's genuine, and you have the person's best interest in your heart, in your mind, and I guess we like people like that, right? That speak out truth in the best of us.
Yeah.
Someone that like constantly affirms us and gives us support.
Yeah. That they know that we still love them, even though we are like they're doing it wrong, but we give them love, tell them that this thing is wrong. So for example, I give you my example of my life. Like I have friends from matrix until now, university is still the same three of us. So the two of them is Christian at all, is Buddhist. But they love to watch a horror movie, like horror movie. But I stopped to watch horror movie ever since like Form 4 or Form 5 because I scared of it. Because I know it's not good for me as a Christian. It's not good.
That's true.
But when we want to watch a movie, they will always say, let's go watch this and that and this and that, a horror movie lah. Then I was like, no, I don't want. They'll be like, are you busy? Yeah, I just explain to them like, because I know it didn't bring good for me. Why will I go for waste my money with Asian, don't waste my money on things that's not good. Then eventually at the end of it, I noticed they don't even watch horror movie also.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Yeah. So it's like your action is important to draw them, even though they don't know Jesus or what. There's Buddhist, different religion, but they know that you're doing it with love and you care for them.
So, like we were talking about this earlier, some people, they hear what they want to hear. And sometimes the things that we say that even though it's the best for them, they don't hear it. So sometimes it's just best if we don't say anything and we let our actions speak for itself. Because once we do it from the heart, from Jesus, if we are very genuine, we want Jesus for them, we want heaven for them, we just show them through our actions. And I'm sure that sooner or later they will realize that we have their best interest. Yeah.
We still love them, we still care for them. Yeah, it's true. Wow. Everything back to love again. Friendship is equal to love. Then be to God, because God is love.
Love is God. God is
back there.
Oh wow. Guess that's it's about tackle about this friendship and relationship love. So that we can I know that a lot of us like having trouble with this kind of thing. Like especially those who just came out from high school and living alone outside, away from their family. They feel like they've not been loved, so therefore they'll like find a group of friends that they feel confident, feel like they belong, although they don't belong. They just feel like maybe they just talk to each other, that's all. But it doesn't click, they just be there so that got people there with them and they feel like they're not alone. Get what I mean? So it's just a friend, like back to the utilities or pleasure, the kind of friend we can categorize as.
Yeah.
So it's important that we find a godly friend in our life. Not need too much, maybe one or two is okay with it.
And also like, when it comes to, friendships, we need to set boundaries.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Like, okay, for example, in this world of globalization, people like to go drinking, right? I mean, people like to go, okay, let's go drink. So, I mean, like, okay, if you already set a date with that friend to go out to drink, then you set, like, you have that boundary for yourself. If you know that you can only drink, if you get tipsy fast, you just don't drink so much. You drink, okay, let's say you drink a little, or worst come to worst, you just order orange juice. Because I myself, even if I go out with my brothers, I don't really drink with them. I say, okay, I'm just going to order orange juice, or like a juice or maybe water. If you're not comfortable, then just say it. I'm not comfortable with drinking. I can go with you, but I hope that you respect my decision that I want to drink. Yeah. You know, I mean, if that friend is understanding enough, if the friend loves you enough, the friend will understand and not push you and force you to drink.
Yeah. Just like my story just now, that I don't want to. So they don't want to watch the horror movie because you tell them that doing all this bring no good at all. So they understand. So this kind of friendship is actually not toxic, but it actually will slowly bring good to you also.
Yeah.
It's because you know that we love them. Yep.
So we've just covered like boundaries in the activities that we choose to do with our friends, right?
Yeah.
Like the kind of activities. But then we also need to have boundaries on our availability to each other.
Example?
Like some people, there are some people, they can overextend themselves to help others, or some can be over dependent on another person, that it can be draining to work to the party that's giving more, right?
True.
So like when you set boundaries, it's also important that you know what you are capable of doing, what you are able to give as well,
Yeah.
instead of always being the one. Yeah, instead of letting it be a draining relationship.
True.
True.
If you're not happy, if you don't think you are able to provide that much, it's okay to tell your friend that, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not able because I already set my date. I already offered to give help to someone else, kind of thing, right? Yeah, don't say yes and then at the end of the day you are not able to provide that help. Then I mean your other friend would actually feel a bit hurt lah, right?
Yeah, you're not a superhero, You're just a human.
That's true.
You got two hands.
Yeah.
So you can only
One
do one
person,
thing.
you're like one unit, not several.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You won't be split. You can split yourself to one right there. Okay.
Yeah.
So do it in a proper measure of what you can do, lah. Don't force yourself. You need to keep some time for yourself also.
Yep. I guess when we linked it to having Jesus as the ideal standard of friendship. And we also see like a lot of parables in the Bible itself. We see that Jesus himself had time to himself.
True.
There were certain times that he was like with very large crowds, with very big crowds. But there were certain times that he was on his own on the mountain with his own father.
Praying.
So he had no time to gain back the energy.
Time for Jesus.
Yep.
No matter how much time you provide in that friendship, ultimately sometimes you have to take one step back, humble yourself, and then ask the Lord, is this relationship or friendship the best for me? Is it worth taking on? Is it worth continuing, or should I take a step back from that friendship? Sometimes you have to think, you have to ask the Lord what is best for me, or what is best for my friend, what can I do to help. So because like sometimes we as humans, we tend to just lose focus and think that we can do it all by ourselves, but ultimately no, we really need God in our lives. We need to trust in him. We
just need a recess, just a break, a short break.
Relationship just like the triangle. God put leader on the top there. So you need to draw closer. If, as for relationship, every kind of relationship is the same. So two of us, if you focus on God, then you're going closer to God. At the same time, you'll grow closer to each other.
Yeah.
There's a triangle going up. Yeah. So focus on, just put your relationship with God. Just surrender it to God. And you can maybe pray this prayer for thinking about whether this relationship or friendship will
prayer.
is it toxic or is it not? Yeah. Just maybe you can say it.
Okay, I quote Paul. Yeah, he shared with me the prayer. I think I mentioned in the first podcast as well. So okay, he said, okay, if you're in a relationship or you need to discern on whether the friendship is right for you, you just ask the Lord Jesus, I commit all my friendships, my relationships to you. Whatever that is of yours, let it grow or blossom. And whatever that is not of yours, let it fall off the grip of my hand. Trust me, the Lord will answer. The Lord will answer your prayer.
Amen.
It will show you the sign that whether this friendship is it a godly friendship or is it a toxic friendship?
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, like, should we jump into questions now, girls?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. We got questions.
Yeah. We have.
Yes. Ooh.
Yeah. So the first question is how to get out of a toxic or abusive relationship.
Ooh.
Oh, I guess. Okay, so after you discern and you pray about it, say the prayer that Jasmine has said, the kind of prayer surrender to you get a sign that maybe this kind of friendship is a kind of toxic relationship and you want to get out of it. So I guess the first thing you do, you go and ask advice from people close to you. Maybe if you're close to your family members, just talk to them, ask them, what should I do? Then maybe you can ask your youth advisor or even your spiritual parents, your godparents, or even your friend that you think that they have a spiritual parent to you. So you can ask
Essentially someone that you can trust, I believe.
Okay, let go, or is it not?
Brenda,
someone that know you clear.
I guess you seek advice from essentially someone you can trust.
Yeah.
Someone that you can trust.
Because it's true. Sometimes when we're in a relationship, like we mentioned earlier, we don't really realize what's going on outside of it. We just know inside, we don't see what's going on. So we tend to just constantly give in without realizing that it's draining. But it also applies to, people who might be the toxic one in the friendship. Like sometimes you have to think, like if people start drifting away from you, people stop talking to you, people stop replying to you or avoiding you, you have to, sometimes it's not because they're doing that on purpose, but you have to reflect on yourself, you have to reflect and ask
it's true.
Lord, is there something wrong that I'm doing that makes people stay away from me? Because sometimes we ourselves, we don't realize that we put pressure on people,
I guess it could be patterns that we've always been doing. And and we don't realize over the years that it becomes more intense. And then we just and then we suddenly realize that wow, it's really damaging.
It becomes something habitual, sometimes people are very rude. They're like, hey, let's go lah. Sometimes people, they have different approach. Like some people, they're like, they need you to ask and say, hey, you want to go out? Some people like, hey, let's go. They're fine with it. Like I'm a person, personally, I'm the type of person who if someone asks me, hey, let's go, I'll be like a bit, taken aback, like, hey, can you ask me nicely?
That's true.
True.
That's true.
This kind of
Yeah.
friendship.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we have
So
to figure out.
the next question would be, oh, this is very interesting. How to pursue holy friendship in a competitive world? Wow.
Especially in Asia, especially in Asian country.
Competitive world meaning?
Like, in our world, like, we are very competitive, or it can be in our studies, like sometimes I want to be number one, but you cannot tahan that I'm number one, so you need to, like, fight against. Or like, if you're in, like, in your working environment, people be like racing to become managers or like, or CEO.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have to be CEO in 1 year.
Yeah. Gotcha. So how to pursue this kind of holy friendship in this competitive world?
Yeah, I think I give example of this kind of thing first lah. So it's like, uh, I'm still studying, so it's a friend. I have friends that they're very good at the book nerd, that kind. They study a lot. And I'm the kind that's very chill and steady and just go on my own way. So, but how to say? It's like, but they somehow still jealous about me. Like they say like, how I wish I could be like you, just chill and then do it. But I still not like I'm taken. I'm just like, okay, so you want to be like me, just learn from me lah. I'm like, whatever I'm doing. So because I'm doing, although I still care for them, like because I didn't compete with them. Like I don't care, whatever you want, my life. I have Jesus. I know what is important in my life. I put focus on whatever is important in my life. Of course, I put study and focus also. But just that I might doesn't show that I put focus that. But doesn't mean that I don't care really. It's just that I have to them show that I still love them lah, I guess. Back to the topic of love again, I guess.
Brenda, you have
I
anything?
guess we also like have to remember that our friendship isn't defined by just the job or the subject that we're competing in. There's also a person there, and eventually, like, we're gonna like pass the subject, and maybe we're not gonna do it again, but we may not see the subject again, but we're still gonna see the person. And although we want the person to do well, like we generally intentionally want the person to do well, that may not be what we receive as well, right? Because like if it's a competitive world,
They might thinking that whatever you might annoy them.
yeah. So like we have to remember that there's a person there as well, and to at least just focus on that.
Yeah, I guess.
Let's move forward with that.
Especially when you're like you do it in love, but how the person is like compete among you, like why you're so good all this.
Yeah.
I show you my love. I just smile and laugh or whatever it is. I feel so annoyed. I'm like, but eventually I think, but yeah, we're still friends. Like although they're annoyed, but we're still friends.
Annoying and just hard to be with at the time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's okay. It's really okay, to be competitive.
Yeah,
but
that's
make
true.
sure that the competition that you have doesn't,
it's healthy.
It's a healthy competition.
Yeah, strives you to be better, challenges you to be better, but not to the extent that you're damaging yourself or the relationship or the other person.
Yeah.
Unless we are competing, who become the same first.
It's still gonna be safe either way.
Get the heaven point. It should be get enough heaven points.
We're collecting heaven points here on earth, you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, don't forget.
Today we have 1 point. Okay, 1 point for each of us today. For everyone that's watching.
That's why the series is called Holiness. It's ordinary things because we collect points by bit, all the holiness you do. And we tackle on relationship. You can get a lot of points from there, I guess.
But okay. The thing is also
especially when it's hard.
Yeah, and the thing about holiness, right? Sometimes people would think that they can do it alone, but sometimes I don't think they can. You really need someone. That's why friendships and relationships are important. And Pope Francis
No Man
quoted-
Island.
Yeah, no man is
We
an
need the
island, is it?
community.
Yeah.
Don't make
Yeah.
a community.
Pope Francis said this, the growth in holiness is a journey in a community. You see the word community there? Side by side with others. So your journey, your pathway to holiness is with people. Like don't do it alone. Do it with a bunch of friends. Like for us in this ministry, we are on this journey together, side by side. We are always here for each other, no matter what.
Yeah. I guess the basic unit will also be families. That's where for most people, that's where we are first introduced to the faith. And I guess that's the basic community that we all belong to.
Yeah, true.
Find yourself a community.
We'll probably tackle the topic of like family in our next podcast or so, right?
Yep.
Because since it's
Most
going to be a
soon,
series.
Yeah, it's another series of
It's a
family.
whole new topic.
Yeah.
And that's all. Is it?
Are we? Do you have
Is it that's all?
anything else to say?
I guess focus on this one is to draw you and me closer to God. Which means heaven for you, heaven for me. So you just remember that whatever friendship you have with or relationship you have with anyone, just remember to put God in the middle of all of it.
Yes. Christ at the center of it all, be it friendship or relationships. Yeah.
Then
Everything.
that through Christ everything is possible, through Christ everything is good. Just surrender it to Him. Yeah. And your friendship will bloom.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
So in conclusion, we want heaven for everybody. We want heaven for you and for me. So
yep, definitely.
This brings us to the end of our podcast today.
Yeah. Hi guys.
And relationships. So to those watching, I hope we helped answer a few questions, be it like relationships or friendships. I hope we answered your questions. And if we haven't and you have more questions, you can actually drop us a message on our Facebook page or on our Instagram if you have Instagram, or you could personally message each of us here. Yeah.
Yeah. If you know our
Yeah. So that's the end from us, and we hope to see you guys soon in our next podcast or live sharing. So do tune in, yeah.
Bye.
Bye everyone.
Bye.